Welcome to part 2 of our 5-part series about the history of Northern Ireland. The partition of Ireland in 1921 was the culmination of centuries of conflict, colonization, and cultural divergence. It created two distinct political entities, Northern Ireland and the Irish Free State, later the Republic of Ireland. The decision to divide the island reflected deep-seated differences in religion, politics, and national identity. Understanding how and why partition happened requires examining the decades of political maneuvering, social tensions, and violent conflict that led to this historic moment. This union was widely unpopular among Irish nationalists, who felt it ignored their cultural and political autonomy, and in the late 19th century, the campaign for home rule gained momentum. The previous video in this series, linked above, explains Irish history before partition, so we're picking the story up from after the Easter Rising of 1916. The Irish War of Independence, 1919 to 1921. In 1918, Sinn Féin won a landslide victory in the general election. Refusing to take their seats in Westminster, Sinn Féin MPs established the Dáil Éireann, an independent Irish parliament, in 1919. This act marked the beginning of the Irish War of Independence. The Irish Republican Army, IRA, the military wing of Sinn Féin, waged a guerrilla war against British forces. The conflict was brutal, with widespread violence, civilian casualties, and atrocities on both sides. British forces, including the notorious Black and Tans, were accused of severe repression, further alienating Irish nationalists. By 1921, both sides were exhausted. The British government, dealing with post-World War I recovery and growing international pressure, sought a political solution: the Anglo-Irish Treaty and the decision to partition. Negotiations between British and Irish representatives culminated in the Anglo-Irish Treaty, signed in December 1921. The treaty established the Irish Free State as a self-governing dominion within the British Commonwealth, similar to Canada or Australia. However, it also included a provision for Northern Ireland to opt out of the Free State and remain part of the United Kingdom. The decision to allow Northern Ireland to remain separate was rooted in the region's demographics and political dynamics. The 6 counties of Northern Ireland, Antrim, Armagh, Down, Fermanagh, Londonderry, and Tyrone, had a Protestant majority that strongly opposed Irish independence. Unionist leaders, such as Edward Carson and James Craig, lobbied intensely for Northern Ireland to remain tied to Britain. The treaty sparked intense debate within Ireland. Nationalists were divided between those who accepted the treaty as a pragmatic step toward independence and those who rejected it, arguing that it betrayed the goal of a fully united Ireland. This division would later lead to the Irish Civil War. Partition becomes reality. In May 1921, before the treaty negotiations were completed, the Government of Ireland Act had already established 2 separate parliaments, one in Dublin for Southern Ireland and one in Belfast for Northern Ireland. However, only the Belfast Parliament became operational, as Southern Ireland was quickly subsumed into the Irish Free State. Northern Ireland, as defined by the Act, consisted of 6 counties. This was a compromise designed to ensure a Protestant majority, as including all 9 counties of Ulster would have created a more balanced demographic split. Partition was formalized with the treaty's implementation in 1922. Northern Ireland chose to remain part of the United Kingdom, while the Irish Free State gained self-governance. A physical border was drawn between the 2 entities, further entrenching the division. The immediate aftermath of partition. The partition of Ireland did little to resolve the underlying tensions. In Northern Ireland, Catholics faced systemic discrimination in housing, employment, and voting rights. Unionist governments in Belfast prioritized maintaining Protestant dominance, leading to widespread resentment among the Catholic minority. In the Irish Free State, the Anglo-Irish Treaty sparked a civil war, 1922 to 1923, between pro-treaty and anti-treaty factions. While the pro-treaty side ultimately prevailed, the conflict left a lasting legacy of division in Irish politics. Long-term implications. The partition of Ireland institutionalized the divisions between nationalists and unionists, Catholics and Protestants, and the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland. The border became a symbol of these divides, affecting economic, social, and cultural ties between the 2 regions. In Northern Ireland, tensions between the 2 communities periodically erupted into violence, culminating in the Troubles, 1968 to 1998. The Good Friday Agreement of 1998 brought a fragile peace, but the legacy of partition continues to shape Irish and British politics. We'll explore these moments in detail over the next few episodes, so stay tuned and hit subscribe so that you don't miss them. The key point from today's video is that the partition of Ireland was a momentous and controversial event in Irish history. It reflected centuries of conflict and competing visions for the island's future. While it was intended to resolve tensions between nationalists and unionists, partition instead created new challenges and divisions that persist to this day. Understanding how partition happened is essential to understanding the ongoing complexities of Irish and Northern Irish identity and politics.